What's good? This is Elton Anderson Jr., aka Detroit Chopra, and today we are talking about old souls with an actual old soul. Now, I know that most of us have heard of the term old souls from your grandma or your people in your family. They say, "Oh, that little girl, she got an old soul," and I wanted to get into what that actually means. Now, I'm old in myself. Like, I mean, I'm a mature man. I'm a man of a certain age. I'm almost 40. And I've been realizing that a lot of my good friends are like 22, 23. Like, literally, I have so many deep, deep, close friendships with people under 25 that it is blowing my mind. And in a sense, I get so much wisdom and knowledge from people that was born in 2001. I don't understand. So today, I got one of my homeboys, Oniel. You've heard him before on the Mushroom Allegedly episode, but I wanted to talk to him about old souls and just our soul age in general, because I really think there's something to it. And I got inspired to do this episode from a YouTube video that I just saw. So without further ado, O'Neal, what's popping, brother?
What's good? And correction, I was born in 1998. Just so we're clear.
Either way, I had my driver's license in 1998. So I mean,
Okay, okay.
no, that's crazy, man. So yeah, so let's talk, because you definitely been here before. Like, that's what the old people say. She been here before.
Facts.
You have definitely been here before. Do you feel like that?
I know that for sure. I can feel the weight of my own presence in a way that's like I move through the world just in a very particular way. I've definitely done this before.
what is what does that weight feel like? That is a heavy word. Like, you feel the weight. Like, do you feel the weight of life? Do you feel the weight of like emotions? Like, what does that weight feel like?
For me, in my own experience, it feels like an interesting balance between being young in a human sense. So like I'm 23, I want to do 23-year-old things.
Mm.
And then in my heart, I'm like, okay, it's time to quit doing that, quit doing this. And I just want to focus on myself and chill somewhere in like a country. Like just it's like this interesting balance. But the more that I raise my ego up and raise him, it's like, oh, okay, this is the balance between being young. This is what it feels like. I'm in mastery of this life experience. That's what it feels like, I think.
Yo, that's so, as a master of life, which is, that is envious, because I've been out here. Because I go back to when I was 23, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
know a lot of my listeners. Um, when I was 23, man, I didn't know anything about life. And I think there's some pivotal ages in our lives. Like, when you turn 18, you're like, okay, I'm grown. When you turn 21, you're like, oh, I'm grown, grown. And even when you turn 30, which is a decade for you from now, whatever. But even when I turned 30, I thought I knew things, but I didn't know anything. And it wasn't until these last 2 years since my actual spiritual awakening when I'm finally like, oh, I kind of know what's happening now. I kind of know what's going on. You haven't even hit the pivotal age of 30, but like, was there awakenings at 18 and 21 for you, or did you know all this stuff at 12?
That is a good question. So had I've noticed that my perception, like my eyesight, has changed over my life as it relates to my own spiritual understanding. So the older I got, maybe around 15, 16, I started to become aware of my own presence in subtle ways. Like I'll just be sitting in a class and I'm like, I'll look down and I'm like, oh, okay, we're here, we're doing this. This is real life, and like just a hyper awareness. But I did have a big awakening in 2019. So it was around my 21st birthday, actually. And I just awakened to how deep the subconscious mind went. and I understood that my presence and my perception was that of a spirit, of a soul. Like I recognized the energy. And that's when I kind of like merged with myself in a new way, because it was like, oh, so the eyes that I've been looking through, not even the eyes, but the eye of my awareness kind
Mm.
of showed itself to me, quote unquote. And it led to like a whole bunch of new experiences. I met new people. I'm everywhere I'm going, people are confirming like this truth. And I'm like, okay, it was this oneness with the present moment that really, it shifted how I operated in healing. Cause I had been healing since before that,
Hmm.
but it shifted how I interacted with living and how living is really right now. And yeah.
Yo, so did that make you wow? I would never have those thoughts at 21 ever, because at 21, I was too worried about being with the in crowd. I was too worried about being, popular in whatever uh fraternity I was in or my college. I wanted to be a part of the group. I wanted to be accepted. It seems like you took another turn. You wanted to accept yourself. That's the only thing that mattered.
You know what? This is funny. I think, yeah, I didn't notice it, but even around high school, I never really felt like I wanted to be with
Mm.
everybody being popping. I had my friends. We were known, but it was never this thing of like I'm trying to be in everybody's face. Because I always my bigger picture was happiness for a long time. And I think I set the intention very young to understand God and what God was. Like I was probably like 11 when I really started to question like God. And then after that, I think that intention really started to snowball into that spiritual discovery. And that's when I really started to understand how, oh, I am an old soul. Like I have done this before. Like I'm receiving information that's constantly, I'll try to tell it to one of my old friends and they like, what you talking about,
Like,
yo?
what, can we just go to the bar or something like that?
Can we just light up? Or
Yo, so this is so the whole purpose of this, because from the first moment I met you, I was like, this boy has been here before. So that's on period. But the whole reason why I even asked you to be on this podcast, because I sent Oniel a message last night. I was like, yo, let's do an old soul conversation. Because I watched this video on YouTube, and it's from this YouTube channel called Open Your Reality. And it explains the different soul ages. So, O'Neill, I don't know if you know, but there's basically five different soul ages. There's infant souls, there are baby souls, there are young souls, mature souls, and then you have old souls. And I'm gonna break them down for you, because the dude, watch the video if you guys get a chance, because it really, I go down rabbit holes. I just be living in rabbit holes. So this was me like watching 8 videos on old souls. But what they say about infant souls, this is like your first time incarnating into. Can we talk about reincarnation? Because I believe in that. I don't know about anybody else. I believe.
I reincarnation is interesting for me. I'm not sure. I think that we have a bigger choice or a bigger say rather in the matter than we think. But I'm still discovering what that really means. Like
Oh,
I don't think we are just forced to go into another life. I think we are, because we're souls, right?
yeah.
So that means that on some level we are in complete sovereignty and in complete, you know, um, alignment with exactly what we need, because we're divine perfection. So on a soul level, we're not just gonna do whatever and just we're designing in a very particular way. So I think that it's a choice, but I'm not, that's not where I've mastered. So I'm still figuring that out.
No, I like that. I like that perspective, because it is, yeah, it is that. That's when you get into the the understanding that you can create your own reality.
Mm,
Me and you have this conversation all the time, and so the
mhm,
more that you get in touch with yourself, your higher self, the more that you realize, okay, I can control the energy that I give out, which will in turn control the things that are attracted to me.
Mhm.
And it can get it can get really deep, but I do think that you have a point as well about not just saying, oh, reincarnation is the way we think of it. It could be a couple different directions. But anyway, let me break down these soul ages. So you got infant souls, you got baby
Mhm.
souls, young, mature, and old. And so the way he categorizes that infant souls, this is the first time they've incarnated a body and they just don't know what to do and they can be wayward. So he said a lot of infant souls are in jail, like a lot of criminals, a lot of people that just don't understand. They have total disconnect from their higher selves. The next one is baby souls. So baby souls have this huge thing of self-importance. And he said you can find baby souls in Bible class, really deep into Bible study, or they could be at KKK rallies. Baby souls need rules and regulations. They they are very judgmental. They create laws that feed into their own insecurities and then they impose them on everybody else. So like he gave the example of people that say nude beaches, for instance, are wrong, or being gay is wrong, and they'll try to take away the rights of other people because they are so new that they only see things from their perspective
Mm.
and they hold on to white is right. Like, oh, I'm white, white is right. So that was interesting. Then it goes into young souls. So young souls is the majority of the population. They're chasing the almighty dollar. They want to have six packs. They're vain. They're working corporate America, and they a young soul will excel very well in the 3D world, and they'll do great things, but they won't ever have that spark to either chase a passion or even another spark to go into their purpose.
Mm.
And then you have the mature souls. I think I'm mature. I think I've been evolving through these different soul levels throughout my life.
Yeah.
And mature souls are actually the most emotional and angsty of all the souls. So on one hand, they're really big into civil rights and gay rights and animal rights, and they fight for minorities. And they are also can be like the actors that we really like and the performers. Like Jimi Hendrix was a mature soul, uh, and Elizabeth Taylor, like people that like they just seem like grown and they seem grounded in who they are. But on the other side, the tragedy of the mature soul is that they are fascinated with their own trauma and they can also seek out a lot of therapy and a lot of addiction. So as quickly as they'll go see a psychiatrist, they'll also be like, okay, I need to escape through drugs and alcohol and even suicide. Most of the suicides that happen are because people are mature souls, which is
Mm.
so super duper interesting. And finally, we have the old soul. And you guys tend to have a sense that it's more to life than what we see. It's more to life than going to a club or having a million followers on Instagram or any of those other things. And you're trying to figure it out. And you see the big picture, but you're trying to, in a sense, understand the big picture. Is that how's the how do those sound? How do those variations sound? And what do you think you stand in that?
So it's interesting because you can kind of imagine the people that you see out in public and kind of be like, oh, like that's you, you're the young soul, or that's you. But for me, I definitely feel like I'm an old soul in the sense that I've never really cared about material things. Like it's never moved me. But to my detriment, I never cared about material things. So it's like my lesson has been okay, like yeah, I'll post this and I'll cater to this, or oh okay, I guess I'll work. I guess money is something that we need, so I'm gonna do that, right? Because that's what we need, right? And honestly, there is more to life, and that's part of why I follow my dreams I don't want to say recklessly, but so head on. Like I don't. There's no such thing as a plan B for me because I know how reality works. I know how creation works, and I know exactly what I need. So I'm headfirst into all of my dreams and my passions because there's nothing else really matters. Everything else is just a detour on the path of destiny.
Mm,
So my destiny is mine. I claimed it. It's done. I'm living it. And that's kind of just how I've lived my life. Like just very, especially now that I've healed and I'm very calm. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm chilling now.
y'all, this is how all the conversations go with this man. We talk, I'm just like, this man is 67 years old. It is the wisdom of your grandpappy. Um, I mean, for me, I resonate with a lot of these. Like and
Mhm,
th- that's that's why this video was so interesting to me because I never felt like I was old soul. I would never ever in a million years say I'm an old soul, but I have went on a very distinct soul and spiritual journey in this lifetime to where I was in the young world. I was I I was in the crowd and then now and I also used to judge people. I used to really judge people. And it wasn't until I started exploring my passion, which was photography at the time. Um, and then after I achieved everything I wanted to achieve in my passion in that field, then something in my soul, like literally my soul said, "Hey, Elton, you're good, you're done now. Pack up, give away all this stuff, and move." And Oniel, I don't know. I wanted to ask you because my soul spoke to me so loudly in that moment. My
mhm.
soul literally said, "Let go of everything, everybody, even yourself in that moment." Like, how loud is your soul with it being so old and tired and heavy?
No, I'm eternally youthful, but my soul is so loud that I don't think I've ever not heard it. Like
Woo!
my whole life, I've always just kind of heard exactly what I needed. And the challenge for me was kind of don't want to do that.
Wow.
It's always been very clear and it's getting louder because the thing about Earth right now is that we're all ascending higher. So as we're all ascending higher, we're letting go of more density. And it looks like I was this one person my whole life, and now I'm a completely different version of myself because this version of me is the one that's needed for the highest good of all involved because we're all one connected being, right? And so our souls are all starting to speak louder. It's around that 2012 to like 2019. A lot of us got that shake to be like, it's time to live in accordance with it. Might not, you might not have even thought it was your soul. You might have just thought with my values, with my integrity, with my, sovereignty. So for me, it was always like my soul is speaking. Am I gonna listen? No. But now it's like, all right, I have fully surrendered to because ultimately it's just for your highest good. So yeah, my soul is definitely always on 10.
That is crazy. So would you say like 2020, this pandemic, all this hoopla, this was on a bigger scale? Was it the universe shaking up the souls? It was like, all right, y'all souls just going in the same. It almost like the universe was a little not impatient, but it said, all right, this is getting boring. I need to shake things up a little bit.
Honestly, it felt like a very strategic. It felt so strategic that it was weird to me. Like
I'm
it
shaking my
felt
head.
like yeah.
I'm shaking, I'm shaking my head in agreement. I'm not saying yes, but
Right. It felt
keep
real
going.
specific.
It was no O'Neill for me. It was like, wait, is anybody else seeing this? I swear to God, that's how I felt. I was like,
uh-huh.
y'all don't see this because I in 2019, that's when I started like getting the voice from my soul, and then right after I moved out of the country, then right on time, a whole panini happens. I'm like, oh no.
It was weird. It was like if I don't even know where to go with that. Like it was weird.
It was weird, bro. Like super duper weird.
No, but your question was, do I think it was from the universe? Like, do I think it was like a I do think it was a very orchestrated event that because even some people around me, but I realized there were people that didn't get shaken by it. There were people that were just kind of like, oh, this is what's happening. I can't wait to get back to work. And there's those people. But there were some people that was like, yo, like I was really slaving 40 hours, 60 hours a week. And dang, like I knew people that would never, they're never going back to the 9 to 5 life. And
Ever.
it's just like, yeah, it showed me that because I was working during that. I was a waiter during that whole thing. So for me, it was just I was just meeting people who either they didn't care or they were afraid, but they also still kind of didn't care. And I was working the whole time. So for me, the only thing that really changed was I had a mask on.
Mm.
People were still coming in, like people were still doing their thing. But this is kind of like the second half of the year. Um, So yeah, it felt like I was just kind of observing from the outside because I was really in my transformation. I was really deeply entrenched in my own energy. So I wasn't willing to start going crazy and getting scared because it just didn't feel like the right thing to do.
And I remember the day you got let go from your job, or you
Mhm.
decided to let go from your job. And I just remember this since I've never seen anybody more. It wasn't even at peace. It was like it invigorated you. It was like, yo, this is, I needed this to happen. Like, yes, like it just sparked the whole new you. What do you think is a dream job for an old soul? Like if somebody's an old soul, because an old soul cannot work 9 to 5. I don't care what.
Nah,
Can you imagine working 9 to 5, O'Neill? Like,
no.
and so I think that's the challenge for old souls and even mature souls like myself. It's like, ugh, I can't do it. And it's no shade to anybody who can, because that's just our different soul paths. But like, yeah, what is a good job for like an older or mature soul? Like, what would you, if you were the career advisor?
Mm, you know what? I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, my dream job is to get paid to travel the world and eat good food and enjoy myself, to do things that I enjoy doing, things that make me feel like I'm playing and that I'm having fun with my friends and family. Like it's because that's the core of why we work. The
Mhm.
reason why people think we have to work is to be with our families and have money to support our children and things like that. So for me, I would bring those together and I get paid to explore the world, see things I've never seen before, eat good food, like talk to people. Like, yeah, like I want to know more about the
Experience life.
world. Yeah, I want to my dream job is getting paid to experience life and party and have fun and enjoy
I think
nature.
a lot of people's dream job.
Yeah, but I'm living it though.
Yeah, I think
That's I call that.
yeah, no, I feel you on that. I mean, that's what I've done majority of my life, was like travel the world and do all those things. But right now I realize that the purpose for me at least is to help others. And I got to a point in my photography career where I was like, man, these celebrities don't need another picture of themselves. Like y'all, like you
Mhm,
cute, but you got a billion pictures. You've been in every magazine, and then it was like working with the companies, and so that the money didn't even feel fulfilling. And I
mhm,
had this deep sense of wanting to be who I authentically was. Like I just like I can't. I mean, a near death experience with malaria definitely helped, but it 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 sparked something in me to want to take what I've learned and then help other people learn it.
You know what's interesting? Now that you mention it, I'm so used to just naturally giving my knowledge and sharing. Like that's just innately, that's intertwined with everything I do. So for me, I'm like, oh well, what's the most fun thing I can do? Like while I do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I get it. Yeah, I 1000% get it, man. Well, we're bringing this. We're making this a quick episode. I just wanted to chat with my boy. I just like to record our conversations every blue moon. So yeah. So with that said, man, and as we bring this to a close, what can what can people do to free their souls? Like, what would you say, regardless of your soul age, how can people begin to free themselves from any of these shackles that we put on ourselves? Because at the end of the day, we're putting all of this on ourselves. What advice would you give us younger
Mm,
souls from an old soul perspective?
I would say come home into your body, be kind and compassionate to yourself. You're not a robot, you're a living human being. Be willing to see yourself and be willing to explore yourself in relationships with other people. Keep your heart open. You don't have to be perfect because you're already perfect. You just have to exist as a human. Trust yourself, trust your intuition the first time, and really cultivate your inner world as a space of love. It's your home, it's the only home you'll have in this life. So
Mm,
make it a special place.
mm.
That's my advice.
Yes, a house is not a home, and home sweet home, and all those other good things. Brother, thank you so much. We're probably going to end up talking for another 2 hours after this anyway, but I just want to record this little snippet and, start the idea of, you know, what can you do for the betterment of your own soul and your own journey? Because ultimately, it'll be the caveat that will help so many other people. So, on that note, thank you so much for listening. Oniel, thank you for being here, brother. I can't wait to, we need to start doing this more, but we will. And
Mhm.
most importantly, guys, definitely make sure that you take care of your home because that is the bar that Oniel dropped on us today. All right. Catch you next episode, guys. Peace out.
That was good.